Good morning. It's my pleasure to present the Administrator's Office performance measures. And while I'm making the presentation, what will be reported is the work of not only the 13 members of the Administrator's Office and Board of Commissioners Office, but also all of the departments in the county that we work with. Our role is to facilitate information going in and out and assisting both the Board of Commissioners in making decisions and the departments in terms of implementing those decisions. As other departments have done, what we'll be doing is presenting our PMs and how they relate to the 6 areas that are noted on this slide. It's just a format that we think is very effective in communicating what we do and how we do it. We seek to ensure that our mission and goals support the priorities outlined by the Board of Commissioners in its 2020 vision statement, and those include stable revenues, efficient use of resources, citizen participation, proactive and innovative government, high quality of life. Our mission statement is to provide policy recommendations to the Board of Commissioners and to efficiently manage and support the effective delivery of county services. The board has, at least the almost 22 years I've been here, has consistently charged us as staff with maintaining the county's long-term fiscal health and sustainability. And we do this through a number of measures. One measure is to make sure that the annual budget recommendations adhere to the parameters that are established each May by the Finance and Physical Resources Committee. And some of those parameters include ensuring a structurally balanced budget where current revenues are able to meet the current needs of the county, to take at least 0.2 of a mil and segregate it specifically for capital improvement program projects. And for the past several years, we've been able to put in the equivalent of 0.25 mils in that effort. Another parameter is that there would be no new positions requiring a general fund appropriation unless certain criteria were met, including demonstrating that the position could be self-supporting or self-funded, grant-funded, or it meets the needs and priorities that are established by the Board of Commissioners. Another indicator is the AAA credit rating, which honestly isn't an end in and of itself, but it is an indication of the financial strength and stability of the county and considers factors such as board policies, management practices, fund balance, the economic climate that exists, historical trends, and future projections and future, just looking at what the future holds for us. This year, in 2017, it does say expected on the credit rating note there, but we have, for the 19th consecutive year, obtained the AAA credit rating by both of the major credit rating agencies, Standard & Poor's Global and Moody's Investor Services. Another item on our goals is to ensure that there is effective communication between the Board of Commissioners, departments and agencies, the judiciary and the public. One measure we use is an annual Board of Commissioners survey on our communications efforts. You can see that our minimum goal is to score a 4.5 out of 5 scale or better, and we've been able to exceed that goal. And that survey will actually go out probably the latter part of June, so that it's always a mid-year survey. One of the metrics I like to look at is how much information is needed for the Board of Commissioners to make its decisions, and one gauge that we use is is if an item is postponed, that's a gauge of what we, the information we provide and whether it is accurate or efficient or effective. And our intent is, and when you take into consideration the Board of Commissioners resolutions, the action requests that each of the standing committees addresses, and just counting the consent agenda for both the board and the finance committee, since that's where the consent agendas normally are. And we only count the consent agenda. It may have 5 items, we only count it as 1. But our intent is to have less than 3 of our recommendations postponed or tabled during the course of a year from the standing committees and the board. And that number's in the 225 to 250 actions that you take on an annual basis. So in 2014, we had 1, in 15, 2, none in 2016, and we don't want to go higher than 3 in 2017. I'm not sure how the minutes reflect that. I'll have to probably say it's postponed, so we'll probably count that. Another goal that we have is to encourage the establishment of partnerships, intergovernmental, public-private, public-public, and public even with the private sector or nonprofit sector. And a measure we use in terms of collaborations is to establish at least 3 intergovernmental or public-private or departmental collaborations during the course of a year. In 2016, we had 7. Just some of those include our work with the Drain Commissioner and the City of Grand Rapids on the Grand River floodwalls, the Allegan County Equalization Partnership, and then a couple of more that I'm going to highlight in the significant accomplishment section of this report, as well as with the collaborations portion of it. Some of the 2 significant budget issues that we have, and it's not just limited to the administrator's office, it's to the county. First is the property tax limitations. And honestly, for me at least, either of them independently is not good. Both of them together makes it very difficult, especially the Proposal A limitations, which while our equalized value is increasing, and during 2016 to 17 it increased by 7.5%, our taxable value is not kept up with that because there is a cap, and that cap is only lifted if there's an exchange of property, which represents about 7% in total of all the property values in the county. So a lot of our taxable value is at 3% is the average for 2016 to 17, which is an increase over what it has been in the previous couple of years, which is good news. But I guess if I had my druthers, one of those would go away, and preferably Proposal A. Now, that's going to change July 1 when I'm only a taxpayer versus a county administrator, because it's a double-edged sword. As a county administrator, I want it to increase. As a taxpayer, I'm happy with the Proposal A. The other thing is our continued capture by various tax increment financing districts. We've made some significant progress a number of years ago when we officially established our economic development policy. And as things evolve, we were also able to modify that policy to accommodate gain sharing and some other things with the Grand Rapids DDA. So we're working on this, and we're monitoring it at the state level, because there has been dialogue at the state level on this. Some of our significant accomplishments, and again, these are not only significant accomplishments, but they also relate to collaborations and partnerships that we've established. We had a significant partnership with Gaines Charter Township, the MEDC, the Right Place Inc., to establish a Renaissance Zone to enable Switch to come into Kent County. And we entered into an agreement with Switch for a payment in lieu of taxes to ensure that we do get some revenues that are necessary for county operations. This was a big deal and it received a lot of attention. I mean, Switch did. The fact that we worked with Gaines Township and the Michigan Economic Development Corporation and the Right Place was a lesser significance, but without that, that interaction with that partnership, this wouldn't have happened. We, as a county, reviewed and approved 2 proposals for consideration by the public in the November election, both of which received significant support by the public. The zoo and museum, we worked with the advocates there, not to advocate for the millage, but to get the information necessary for you to determine whether or not it was worthy of placing on the ballot. We worked with the Sheriff's Department and with the Kent Dispatch Authority and other stakeholders to get information to you regarding the proposal for the surcharge. So both of these were successful. We did not play an advocacy role, but we did provide the information, or at least a lot of information. We had our transition to the Gerald R. Ford International Airport to an authority become official on July 1. As far as transitions go, this is probably the smoothest I've ever seen, and it's a significant transition that took place. And it all happened not only because of the leadership of the Aeronautics Board and the Board of Commissioners, but also the work that staff had to do to make sure that the transition was implemented appropriately, because you're dealing with multiple stakeholders, including the Federal Aviation Administration, the unions representation, financial system changes. So it was a significant accomplishment that was pretty seamless, and it was done because the execution was done as well as could be expected. We lobbied legislators successfully to modify the governor's budget and address the child care fund. This is important because it's one of those, again, behind the scenes types of activities that doesn't necessarily generate a lot of attention, but does impact the county significantly one way or another. In this way, it was a positive impact. We worked to respond to a public health situation related to vapor intrusion. This was the health department, the administrator's office, and corporate counsel. We have an externship with the Western Michigan University Cooley Law School, where we have senior law students work with the corporate counsel's office for a 5-month period. We get free labor and research. They get some practical experience and are able to put this on their resume as something that is very valuable to them. It's certainly very valuable to us. Another collaboration was with the city of Wyoming, relates to dispatch, where Wyoming requested that the Sheriff's Department take over the dispatch. This was, again, a collaboration between the Sheriff's Department, the County Administrator's Office, and Corporate Counsel, and the City of Wyoming. Now Kent County Sheriff's Department dispatches for every local unit of government with the exception of the City of Grand Rapids. We are working on a number of levels in a number of areas to continue to look at what we can do for dispatch. Just to look ahead, we are working on a merger between the Community Development Department. More visitors. Didn't know I attracted that kind of a crowd. We're finalizing the merger between the Community Development and Housing Commission and the Community Action Agency of Asset. We are completing some significant subcommittee reports on the land bank, lead, and the front of the court task forces. One of the things that's coming up is, speaking of dispatch, is we're going to have to amend and restate the county's 911 plan, and we're shooting for having that completed by the end of the year. And then we want to continue to enhance internal and external communications efforts. We do this through not only the information you receive, but the social media postings, the quarterly report, and other things that have been enhanced. And so just some of the things that are happening. I breezed through that, but I think I made the 15-minute time frame, so I'll be happy to answer any. And by the way, some of the other, we had a very smoothless year this year. Smooth transition and smooth operation, as it's not smoothless, very smooth, sorry, in terms of appointments of citizen boards and commissions. And over the last several years, we've been tweaking that process to ensure that it is a smooth way to make sure we get the people out there who are interested in serving on a county board or commission, and making sure the process is as efficient and as effective as possible. So there are a lot of things that are going on. This touches on the highlights, and I'll be happy to answer any questions that you might have. You also have information in your packet on the standard PM reporting.
Thank you, Darrell. Commissioner Bolkowski.
Yeah, I'll start with thank you. I mean, I want to say it's a weird opportunity to look at this, because in a few weeks you'll be but a taxpayer. And
oh no, I'll be your boss now. So
yes.
Already are.
I'll be Ted's boss.
I was going to say I look forward to you moving to Easttown. I didn't know you were moving. And part of that, though, is how quickly we segregate our opportunity as a taxpayer from the reality of being a service recipient. And within that, and again, the thank you is, for a generation, you have done what this board has asked. AAA bond rating, keep us out of the newspaper, everything's good, okay? And again, so thank you. And more of my concerns are, I don't know if on July 2 you're going to start writing, as a taxpayer, now this is what you all need to be doing. I hope you do, because the issue of, what are our board priorities? What really are our unmet needs for the next generation? Do we as a county want 20 years from now to have a third tower at the jail? If we keep doing what we're doing, we're going to build a third tower. There's some cool things coming. I believe they're cool, from the front of the court task force. I'll just leave it at that for now. However, it's still that issue of what's that sufficient level of funding. And when people say people are tired of taxes, no, they're tired of your taxes, or your services, not my services, because how many local taxes keep getting approved? It's almost like 90% of local issues get approved. So people aren't opposed to taxes. They're opposed to, predominantly, just say it, people are opposed to taxes going to Detroit, at least in West Michigan.
Washington, D.C.
Washington, D.C. as well. If it leaves West Michigan, it's wasted. That's almost by definition. And we tiptoe around, Roger's proposal this morning. What's it really going to take to have 20 years from now to have this regional park piece? And it's going to cost money. And we and it's we, not you, it's we who keep saying, yeah, it's a really cool plan. Go have another bake sale, talk to the Wege Foundation, try to cobble the money together, as opposed to saying, no, it's really going to be this. So I'll get off my soapbox and simply say thank you, and I look forward to us defining that vision for the next generation. And I really do hope you come back as a taxpayer and tell us on July 2, actually the 3rd is the Monday, to tell us what the taxpayer, Darrell DeLavia, would like to see. So I'll be quiet.
No question. You're good.
I got no question. Again, I got a diatribe.
And just want to make sure your question got answered. Commissioner Steck.
Thank you, Chair. So there's so much to work with, Dave. But another
Just let it
time.
all sit there.
Another time. So I'm just acknowledging you, Daryl, for the incredible leadership and work that you've done. This is likely your last performance review presentation to us, and I haven't been there that long, but enough to know that the 15 minutes of summation you provide is not even the tip of the iceberg of all the work and the energy, and the effort that it takes to drive this ship day in and day out. And you've done a phenomenal job, and I certainly express my appreciation of my constituents for that.
Thank you. And again, I have to emphasize that I'm up here, but it's people who are here that really make the difference. I've said it before, and I'll say it again. You have a very dedicated, talented, committed staff that works well together. We don't have the types of relationships I've seen in other counties where the sheriff's office is suing the county board, or other elected officials may be working against each other. This board has always provided sound, solid leadership and direction to me. I hope that I've done the same, but we have an exceptional staff that's one thing I will take credit for, because I hired them. They do the work, but I hired them.
Well, in
I'll
all
take credit
fairness,
for that.
if it went bad, you'd be the one paying the price.
Absolutely, yep.
Commissioner Cornday.
Thank you, Chair. I was trying to come up with a question, but sorry, I couldn't come up with one, Darryl. But again, I just want to also say thank you for your leadership. I know it's got to be challenging to lead 700 employees and 1,700, I'm sorry, and then down to 16 and 15, but we're cutting employees because we're spinning off different parts of the county to be more efficient and effective, which is what we try to do. Network 180, the zoo, and the airport under your leadership have all gone their separate ways, and I think in the future we'll be much more successful because of that, and that's because of your leadership. Thank you for that. Also for the collaboration. There's a lot of collaboration that goes on with Kent County and other municipalities and townships and everything else that operates the state. And we appreciate that as well. Thank you for those collaborations. And finally, thank you for the financial AAA bond rating. That's something that's really important, I think, to all the commissioners here, and it's what makes us strong, and it's what we get to brag about a lot. So thank you for all those things and your leadership. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Commissioner Breeden.
Yeah, thank you, Daryl. I just want to, thank you for your decades of service here at the county level. And obviously, things have been going well for many years. I'm just curious, under your leadership, what do you think the most significant contributions have been?
Okay, I've been asked that a lot, so I have a quick answer.
You've got a list.
There are several things I'm very proud of. Some are, only one of them I would view as being sexy, and that is being able to work on, with the Convention Arena Authority before it was even established, work on that project and work on DeVos Place. So that one is certainly high, but there are several internal projects that don't receive a lot of attention that I feel very proud of. One is our training and development program, which was when I was the assistant administrator, I was charged with developing an in-house county training program. And it is a tremendous training program now that has several components to it that is offered to every county employee who's interested in participating. That's something that doesn't get media attention. I don't know that it should, because it's internal. Another one is the Cultural Insight Council, which I established in 16 years ago. It was as a result of some work that was done by the Board of Commissioners, a task force, and it's a self-directed work group within the county, made up of employees that tries to encourage, and Darius Quinn was up here before you not too long ago talking about the strategic plan of the CIC, but that's something I feel very proud of. And the last thing is having been able to get every local unit of government except one to sign a contract for dispatch services. That was a long process that I mean, it started years ago, 7, 8 years ago, in terms of the agreement, and it was modified, but that was a significant collaboration, I believe, and it included not only all the local units of government, but corporate counsel, the sheriff's office, dispatch authority, and to get all but one to formally sign, and all of them comply with the agreement, but only all but one have signed it. And I just, that's one of the things I feel very proud of, because that was it was far more difficult than just the agreement itself. So.
Any other questions for Darrell? Commissioner Skaggs?
Thank you, Chair. Just a quick question about the achievements and the looking ahead is about the 911 fee and its implementation. And I've had a couple of constituents ask me, so where'd all that money go? And I'm trying to look around at our websites and see if I can find out where all that money went, and I'm wondering if you have a good answer for
Okay,
me.
I do. It hasn't gone anywhere yet because we haven't received it.
Right.
It starts, we start collecting it, or it starts being assessed by the telephone companies July 1. We'll probably start seeing receipts from that collection in September, October. Maybe a little bit earlier, but a lot of it comes in waves. So we are going to be, we're working with the dispatch authority, the sheriff's department, for a $25 million communications enhancement for the enhanced 911. That is in process right now. There'll be new towers, there'll be new communications devices for all public safety personnel within the county. Every local unit of government that has a police department, fire department, will have new equipment. And then one of the things that'll happen at the end of this year is when those agreements with the local units expire, money will be diverted. Some money will be given to the county, some to the city for dispatch of fire services. There's been an ongoing, long-time dispute about the equity of fire dispatch compensation to those those communities that dispatch Warshire, Grand Rapids, and Kent County, and the inequities that exist between some townships and some cities. So now everyone is going to not have to pay the county or well, in the city's case, it's only the city, but will not have to pay for those fire dispatch services. The fire dispatch evolved over a period of years. It once was and I'm not going to, I'll say fairly simple, but only fairly simple compared to right now. And the county just took those things on because it was a quick call. Now there's so much more to fire services. And at some point in time, there were several townships who were paying, and most cities were paying, but a lot of townships weren't. And that was the focus of the agreement that was approved a couple of years ago. And now that portion of the dispute will go away. The big thing is the enhanced communication.
I guess what I'm suggesting is a sort of accountability and transparency tool, which would be just like a quick website that's like your fees at work.
Okay.
I think that other jurisdictions have done that for millages. I think it makes taxpayers
Absolutely.
pleased and hopefully pleased to see where the money that's there that they're putting into the kitty is actually going, sort of just, like a one-page annual report of revenue in, and this is what we did with it.
Absolutely. Great suggestion. Sure.
Any other questions or comments for Darrell? All right, I will just conclude that a little anecdote about Darrell. As you know, I've worked several years in the legislature, and that's been my vastly my career. And every time we would do a new idea or a bill idea or anything, several members that I worked for would always say, well, in Kent County we do this, and in Kent County we do that, and in Kent County, and Kent County. And it gets to be known as the eye roll, the Kent County eye roll by everyone else, with the exception of people from Kent County, that we always do things efficient, effective, and I think Daryl is a big part of that and why that exists. So I just want to thank you for all your leadership.
Well, thank you for your kind words. Again, it's everyone behind me.
All right, thank you. All right, on to Commissioner Miscellaneous. Is there any miscellaneous today? Commissioner Steck?
Thank you, Chair. So I'll continue the Kent County eye roll. These are exciting times in behavioral health. There have been lots of changes over the course of the last year. We've tracked some of those. You might recall it was about a year ago in which the governor had declared that we need to privatize essentially all of the community mental health systems. So here we are a little more than a year later, and the House's recommendation is expressly and specifically to identify the pilot for how we should do this in the state to come out of Kent County. So it is the 60 or so proposals that came in from around the state. It's the one that the House identified as being the one that they want to see tried and exercised as the process goes forward. So that's an awful exciting opportunity. We don't have it through the Senate yet. The Senate had slightly different thoughts when it came out with its proposal. That has to be worked out. As Becky had indicated, that looks like it's going to happen. It hasn't yet, but it looks like it will. And once that does happen, Kent County will have the opportunity to prove what we can do. So I'm excited about that. We all should be excited about that.
Thank you, Commissioner. Any other miscellaneous? I just have 2 items. One, a reminder that we are going to do the board photo on Thursday. So everyone needs to be here at 8:15, according to Pam. And secondly, we had a few vacancies on a couple commissions and committees, the Fire Commission, the Library Board, the Land Bank Board, and the Network 180 Board. We are still holding applications open until the end of this month, but I would like to nominate Commissioner Steck and Commissioner Breeby on a subcommittee to review those, and we will hope to make those recommendations beginning to mid of May. So if anyone knows anyone who may still want to serve on those, please get those applications into us as soon as possible, into Pam. And if we have no other miscellaneous, our next meeting is May 9th, and we are adjourned.
Safe streets, vibrant neighborhoods, successful business and commerce. These are things that make a healthy community. We are a diverse community, rural, suburban, urban. A multitude of languages and ethnicities, ages and experiences. We are a collaborative community. Public-private partnerships make us a model community that others want to follow. It is what makes us unique. It is what makes us strong. The employees of Kent County reflect our diversity and seek to serve our communities.
People in this county, in this area, we wrap our arms around each other. We come together to collaborate, to solve problems. We're all working for the good of the whole. And I think that's wonderful. And you can see it. You can see it as you drive around Kent County.
Our impact starts the day a baby is born and a birth certificate is issued, to protecting children from deadly diseases through vaccination, to the public safety and justice provided by law enforcement and the courts, to offering veteran services and caring for the elderly. Every day we work to keep our communities robust.
I think if you are somebody who's interested in serving your community, in building a strong knowledge base and a good group of people to work with, then the county is one of your best employment opportunities out there. It's been completely rewarding in every way I could possibly explain for 26 years, and I feel like I grow every single day still today.
Leading these dedicated employees are 19-member Board of Commissioners and our County Administrator Controller, along with our elected officials and appointed department directors, placing emphasis on civic involvement, quality housing, vibrant neighborhoods, and strong, solid infrastructure to allow businesses to thrive. Professional, dedicated, collaborative, and innovative.
Behind the scenes, collaboration between foundations, charitable organizations, nonprofits, for-profit businesses, public sector demonstrated through the county, the city of Grand Rapids, the townships, all the cities and the villages in our area. If we don't come together, then we will not have the strength that we have today, and I only hope to build upon that.
Our aim is to make our communities the best they can be. We are involved in exciting development projects, sustainable recycling programs, and creative progressive prevention programming. We partner with elected officials, impacting policy ideas that become great achievements. We seek opportunities to reach out into the community and offer our services to help our residents make Kent County thrive.
Our relationship is solid, both from a staff standpoint at the county level as well as the Board of Commissioners. And they understand what we do and the benefits that we can do for the community, and vice versa. We couldn't do what we do without the help of Kent County.
While most of us are busy running our lives, Kent County's elected officials, administrator controller, and over 1,600 employees are serving the communities where we live our lives, so we can all have a place we are proud to call home. Kent County, its life well run.